This is my little Chinese chip tester and one of the 7404s that was in the board. And you can see that flashed 8, and that's its startup to verify that the 7-segment display is working, and then ERR means it can't identify what this chip is. Also means there's a good probability the chip is dead, which in fact this one is. Here we have System 80 MPU, the third one from the Sweden batch, and I'll go over what I did to this on the bench in just a moment. But she is completely functional. I have RoboWar ROMs in the game, so let's boot it up. And we haven't established any high scores to date. I'll check that after we're done. But let's get into test with my pre-Pennytech homemade tester. And so we're in lamp test. I'll come back to that one. So you could hear or see something going on each time a switch was pressed, or each time a coil was fired. Now I'm in switch test. I'm gonna go down column 1. This is the first time checking the switch matrix. I'll skip 07 because that is the advanced test switch. Sorry about the glare. All right, now we'll advance test. Dip switch setting 0303 Charlie 2, which is correct. And display test. And there was a problem with the display integrated circuits. The 7404 and a 74175 had failed, and one of them was causing one of the 4 data strobes to not work, and the other one was causing the strobe or the clock pulse to the first display to not work. So that's working properly. Memory test. And that is the checksum for Prom 2 for RoboWars. So she's good to go. Let me boot it up one more time and I can show you all the lamps working. RoboWars is a really fun game. I'm having some trouble with this T lamp here. It's working, but the socket on it stinks. All right, let's go back to the bench and I'll describe what we did to this board. And here is that System 80 MPU, which was part number Delta 20869. And again, this was one that came from Sweden, and it was a System 80A MPU. So I left the U2 socket in there, but I've converted it to a System 80B MPU. To do that, there are a few chips that need to be removed. Actually, some of them can be left in there, but I take them out anyway. The 7404 here, 74154 here. I took out the Prom 2 socket, these 2 ICs also. And you have to add these jumpers so that the 74175 buffers can talk directly to the display. As I mentioned earlier, this one had a failed 74175 here and a 7404 here. I took the 7404 that used to be here and put it up there. I tested it with my RoboWar ROMs, and I've installed one of the Weebly daughter cards into the U3 position. I like to use these if there's no damage to the board. I prefer Ed's at Great Plains Electronics if you have some damage, because he has redundant connections between U2 and U3. Put a socket in where the 5101 is. The Swedish client can decide if they want to put NVRAM in there, but NVRAM has gone up to about 30 bucks a pop, so that's a consequence of the chip shortage, which is also preventing delivery of F-150 trucks. Replace the power 5-volt power input cap, and again, axial caps are being discontinued, so I use a radial cap wherever I can, and I have installed a supercapacitor to back up the memory. It's a cheaper alternative that works well for System 80 games and Bally and Stern classic CPUs. And that's it. This board is, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. I had to re-tin some of the card edges. And you don't want to linger on those card edges too long when you're re-tinning it. And a little, as they used to say, a little dab will do you with the solder. You don't want to make a giant mound on there. Now, somebody had done that in a couple of instances here, and I've left that. But you can see here's a good example where it was tinned and then wiped off. No need to tin some of these as there's no actual connection there. So that is it. I have sprayed this bare copper with my 3M acrylic conformal coating, and she is good to go.